The sirens screamed through the night like wounded animals, their red and blue lights painting the walls of Port Soleil in violent colors. Police officers swarmed the modest apartment building, their boots thundering up the stairs. Inside room 304, Jidenna pressed his back against the door, his heart hammering so hard he thought it might burst through his ribs. His phone buzzed with notification after notification, his face was everywhere. Every news channel, every social media platform, every WhatsApp status. The headlines burned into his mind: wanted, Yahoo boy suspected in senator's daughter's death. His hands trembled as he stared at the screen, watching his own face stare back at him like a stranger. How did it come to this? But before the sirens, before the blood, before the money turned everything golden and rotten, Jidenna was just another dreamer with empty pockets and a heart full of hope. It was 2 years earlier when 19-year-old Jidenna first stepped onto the campus of Port Soleil University, his one leather bag slung over his shoulder, his shoes held together with super glue and prayers. He was the first person in his family to attend university. His mother, Mama Ijeoma, had fried plantain by the roadside for 15 years to save enough money for his admission. His father, Okori, had carried cement and laid bricks until his knees gave out, also their son could have a chance they never had. The hostel room Jidenna was assigned to smelled of mold and old sweat. The mattress was thin enough to feel every spring beneath it. His roommate, Rex, was everything Jidenna wasn't: flashy designer clothes, expensive cologne that filled the room, a new iPhone he switched every few months. Rex would come in late at night, smelling of perfume and grilled fish, sometimes with takeout bags he tossed carelessly on his bed. Jidenna would lie awake those nights, his stomach growling, trying to focus on his textbooks by the light of his dying phone. He'd skip breakfast most mornings, tell himself lunch was enough, then skip lunch too when his pocket was completely dry. Some days, he'd drink water until his belly felt full, just to silence the hunger. One particular night, Rex stumbled in around midnight with 2 packs of fried rice and chicken. He tossed one to Jidenna without a word. Jidenna caught it, his pride warring with his hunger. Hunger won. He tore into the food like a man possessed, barely chewing, and when he looked up, Rex was watching him with something like pity in his eyes. "Guy, you need to relax," Rex said, shaking his head. "This university life go wound you if you no wise up." Jidenna swallowed hard, wiping his mouth. "I no fit just dey collect from you every time. I need to hustle my own." Rex laughed, a sharp sound that had no real humor in it. "Hustle wetin? Book." He gestured at Jidenna's pile of textbooks. "You think say no first class go save you for this country? My brother, wake up." "So wetin you dey do?" Jidenna asked quietly. He'd been wanting to ask for months. Rex studied him for a long moment, then smiled. "Internet business." "But he no be the type them they teach for class." Jidenna knew what that meant. Everyone knew. But knowing and caring were different things, especially when your mother called crying because the landlord was threatening to throw them out, especially when your father's medication cost more than your monthly allowance, especially when you were tired of being hungry, tired of being invisible, tired of watching everyone else live while you barely survived. "Teach me," Jidenna whispered. Rex's smile widened. "Now you dey talk sense. But this kind work, it get levels. The real money no dey come from laptop alone." 3 days later, Rex took him to a compound at the edge of town, where the streetlights didn't reach and the air felt thick with secrets. The building was old, paint peeling, but inside, red candles burned in careful circles. A man sat cross-legged in the center, Boba Tamuno, they called him. He was neither young nor old, his eyes dark and knowing. Boba Tamuno studied Jidenna like a merchant examining merchandise. "You want money?" It wasn't a question. Jidenna nodded anyway. "Money day. Plenty money. But every sweetness get a price." Boba Tamuno's voice was soft, almost kind. "Every woman where you lie with go give part of her life for your wealth. Small, them go fade. Some go die. But you? You go shine like gold." Jidenna's blood ran cold. Wetin you mean?" "I mean say you fit help your family, live good life, chop better food, wear better cloth. But the women where you touch, them go pay the price." Boba Tamuno leaned forward. So wetin you talk? You won't continue to suffer? Or you won't prosper? Rex's hand was firm on Jidenna's shoulder. Guy, no small price. Just stay careful. Control yourself. Make money, help your people, just no day to do. Jidenna thought of his mother's calloused hands, his father's swollen knees, the landlord's cruel laughter. He thought of the hunger that had become his constant companion, the shame of being the poor boy in every room he entered. I go do he whispered. The ceremony was brief and terrifying. Chalk marks on his forehead, strange words chanted in languages he didn't understand, smoke that made his eyes water and his head spin. When it was over, Boba Tamuno smiled. Go. Your harvest done begin. Within 2 weeks, everything changed. Money started flowing into Jidenna's account like water from a broken pipe. His laptop scam suddenly worked with impossible success. Clients fell for every story, every plea, every fabricated emergency. $500 became 1,000, became 5,000. He moved out of the hostel into a small apartment. He bought new clothes, new shoes, a new phone. He sent money home, and his mother wept with joy on the phone. God don't answer prayer, my pikin. I know say your suffering go pay one day. Jidenna didn't correct her. How could he tell her that it wasn't God answering prayers but something else entirely, something darker, something that would demand payment in blood? Girls who'd never looked at him twice suddenly knew his name. Chairman J, they called him. He was invited to parties, asked to clubs, smiled at in ways that made his heart race. The attention was intoxicating. For the first time in his life, Jidenna felt powerful. But the first time he saw her, all that power evaporated. Her name was Nora. She was a nursing student with gentle eyes and a smile that made the world feel softer. She shared her food with him in the library one afternoon when he was studying, wouldn't take no for an answer. They started talking. She told him about her dream to open a clinic in her village. He told her about his family, carefully editing out the parts that would make her run. You're different, she said one evening as they walked across campus. Most of the guys here, they think about themselves. But you get hurt. Jidenna's chest tightened with guilt. If only she knew. They grew closer. Nora would pray with him, hold his hand, tell him he was going to do great things. He tried to keep his distance, tried to remember Boba Tamuno's warning, but loneliness and affection were stronger than caution. One night, in his apartment, with rain hammering against the windows and soft music playing, Nora kissed him. And Jidenna, fool that he was, kissed her back. They crossed the line he'd sworn not to cross, and for those few hours, he felt human again, felt loved, felt like maybe the curse was just superstition. 3 days later, Nora collapsed during a practical class. By the time they got her to the hospital, she was gone. The doctor said it was sudden heart failure. She was 20 years old with no history of heart problems. Jidenna stood at her funeral, watching her mother wail, watching her father's silent tears, and felt his soul crack down the middle. Rex found him afterward, drinking alone in his apartment. Bro, it don't happen. Nothing you fit do. I killed her, Jidenna whispered. No be you kill am. Not the price. I tell you say make you dey careful. Rex poured himself a drink. You fit still control am. Just no fall in love again. No attach. Hustle your money, help your family, but no give your heart. Jidenna wanted to stop. God, how he wanted to stop. But the money kept coming, and his family needed it. His father's medical bills, his younger sister's school fees, the new roof on their house, it was all on him now. And maybe, he told himself, maybe if he was more careful, if he kept his distance, if he never let himself feel anything again, no one else would have to die. He threw himself into work and parties, into noise and movement, anything to drown out Nora's voice that whispered his name in the quiet moments. He saw her face in mirrors sometimes, her eyes sad and accusing. Shadows moved in his apartment when he was alone. Sleep became a battlefield of nightmares. Then he met Aurelia at a yacht party he'd been invited to by some big boys in the business. She was stunning, confident in a way that came from privilege, educated abroad, daughter of Senator Okoro, one of the most powerful men in the country. She should have been untouchable, but she laughed at his jokes, touched his arm when she talked, gave him her number without him asking. "You're interesting," she said, her eyes bright with curiosity. "Most guys just try to impress me with their daddy's money. You're different." Rex cornered him the next day. "Guy, I hope say you know they fall for this girl. Senator Pekin. You won't die." "I just dey talk to her," Jidenna lied. "You dey talk to her?" Rex laughed bitterly. "Bro, I dey watch you. I see the way you dey look at am. You don't forget wetin happened to Nora." But Jidenna couldn't help himself. Ariella made him feel like someone worth knowing, not just for his money but for who he was. They texted constantly, went to expensive restaurants, took weekend trips. She told him about her dreams of changing Nigerian politics from the inside, of building schools and hospitals, of being nothing like her father's generation. "I want to be with someone real," she said one night, her head on his chest. "Someone who understands struggle. You get that, don't you?" "Yeah," Jidenna whispered, his heart breaking. "I get 'em." When they finally made love in a hotel overlooking the ocean, Jidenna felt a moment of perfect peace, as if maybe this time would be different, as if maybe love could break whatever curse bound him. 3 days later, his phone exploded with news alerts: Senator's daughter found dead. Ariella Okoro dies mysteriously. Police launch investigation. Jidenna dropped his phone, his hands shaking so violently he couldn't pick it up. No. Not Ariella. Not her. Within hours, his face was everywhere. Someone had leaked photos of them together. The media spun it into a scandal, the Yahoo boy who seduced and killed a senator's daughter. Ariella's friends gave statements about the suspicious boyfriend who appeared out of nowhere. The senator himself went on television, his face twisted with grief and rage, promising justice for his daughter. Rex called him once. "Guy, you don't cast finish. Police they find you. I no fit help you. Delete my number." And just like that, Jidenna was alone. He ran through the streets like a hunted animal, sleeping in bushes, begging for food, his expensive clothes now dirty and torn. The same people who'd called him Chairman J now spat at him. His parents' phone was off, probably disconnected when the media found them. He was caught trying to steal bread from a roadside vendor, too weak and desperate to run when the mob formed. They beat him bloody before the police arrived. Jidenna prison swallowed him whole. The cell was dark and cramped, smelling of urine and hopelessness. Other inmates stayed away from him. They said he screamed in his sleep, said he talked to people who weren't there. And he did. Every night, Nora appeared at the foot of his mat, her eyes hollow. Ariella stood in the corner, her lips moving but no sound coming out. Other faces joined them, girls he barely remembered, girls whose names he'd never learned, all of them watching him with dead eyes. "I'm sorry," he whispered into the darkness. "I'm so sorry. I never meant, I just wanted, I was just trying to survive." But the dead don't forgive. They just watch. And wait. On his 7th night in prison, Jidenna started screaming and never stopped. The guards found him the next morning, eyes wide open, face frozen in an expression of pure terror, hands clawed as if trying to fight off something only he could see. The headlines were brief: Yahoo boy dies in prison, victims' families express relief. There was no sympathy, no mourning, just satisfaction that justice had been served. In a small village 300 kilometers away, Mama Ijeoma sat on her veranda, clutching a photograph of her son, the son who'd sent money and gifts, the son who'd lifted them out of poverty, the son she'd raised to be good. "My Jidenna was a good boy," she whispered to the neighbors who'd come to offer hollow condolences. "Bad friends spoil 'em. Bad people change 'em. But he was good. My boy was good." She never knew the truth. Perhaps that was a mercy. Money can buy a lot of things: clothes, cars, comfort, even temporary happiness. But it can't buy back the dead. It can't silence the voices that follow you into the darkness. It can't wash the blood from gold that was never meant to shine. If this story touched you, moved you, made you think twice about the prices we pay for the things we want, then do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button because every week, I bring you stories that'll make you feel something real. Drop a comment telling me what you thought. Did Jidenna deserve what happened to him, or was he just another victim of a system that crushes the poor? Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. And smash that like button if you want more stories that don't just entertain, but make you think. Because in the end, we all make choices. And every choice, every shortcut, every compromise with darkness, has its price. The only question is, are you willing to pay it?